Try to get a hold of Roger again. Can you hear that, Roger?
I hear you. Do you hear me?
Oh, I got you fine now. No problem. Just have to get a little feedback out of the system here. It's all due to the problems with recording that we have every now and then, but nothing special to worry about. Okay, this new album of yours is just really something. You know, you floored me with that Seabreeze label. I didn't expect that. I didn't know where it was coming from.
Oh, really? You haven't heard anything else on Seabreeze?
No, I didn't have anything from Seabreeze, and when I brought it into work, I'm trying to figure out who Seabreeze was and who Roger Neumann was. Didn't dawn on me that I was expecting it from you, and naturally I do my best thinking down in the laboratory.
Yeah, right.
And all of a sudden, Roger Neumann, I said, son of a gun. So I came back, and then I started playing the music, with more interest to it. And right off the bat, first one I played was the Flintstones.
Yeah.
Somebody picked it right up.
Well, I purposely programmed that as the first cut on the first side, because that seems to catch everybody's ear, you know. There's something about that tune that most people really pick up on.
Well, the thing is that it's done so well, too.
Well, it's, that of the whole album, that was the hardest tune for the band to record. It was the most difficult one to get done. It's easy in a way, it sounds easy and fun, but in another way, it's windy, there's a lot of blowing, and it's high, and it's fast, and it was just the most difficult one to do. We almost got to the point where we were ready to give up on it. We tried and tried to get it done, and then we finally nailed it.
You got a fantastic band there. I was looking through the list of members in it, and how did you manage to assemble them all?
Well, I first moved out to L.A. area here about roughly 16 years ago, spring of '68. And when I started playing various jobs around town, I listened to everybody I worked with, all the musicians, with the thought in mind that someday I'm going to have my own big band. And when I do, I want to know who all my favorite players are, So after I listened to everybody play, and I started calling the guys for a band, I knew who I wanted to hear play in my band. And there are a lot of the greatest players out here that I called, and many of them were interested. And if you read the liner notes, you noticed that about half the band has stayed with me all these years as we've been working toward getting this first album out. Including Blue Mitchell. The second side is a tribute to him, and he was an original member of the band back there in '75 when we first started.
Now, what took so long to get the album out?
Well, number one, nobody knows who Roger Neumann is. And number two, it's a very big band. It's a rather large band. 18 of us. And it takes some money to pay us, no matter where we play or how little salaries are. When you multiply a salary by 18, it comes up to a few bucks, So it's hard to get jobs for that big a band. And it's hard to promote somebody who's relatively unknown. And it's just been a gradual uphill climb until a few very wise businessmen heard the band and said, gee, this is the best band I've ever heard. Let's put it on a record. So I said, okay. All we need is some money, and they came up with the money, and there you have it, finally.
Just trying to get some noise out of this phone line here.
You got some noise again?
Well, it's a different kind of a noise, almost like a motorboating noise.
Well, I'm talking on a payphone here. I don't know if that makes any difference in a booth here.
Oh, that's okay. I think it's presentable. I don't think it's overbearing. We've had some worse conversations by phone. I can't even get across to somebody in Arizona.
Yeah, I was so encouraged to call you after you gave me a ring last night. I had that message on my answering machine. I just finished a little job with a small band out here. We played a wedding at a hotel in Pasadena, so I just decided to give you a ring right away.
Well, I figured you were busy. You know, I figured on the weekend you'd be out playing.
Yeah.
And I've waited a long time to get together with you after meeting with Ray Anthony last year. And of course, you called me from New York City that time at my home. But I was really floored to receive that album, really. I mean, that's real great music.
Oh, thank you. I'm really glad you enjoy it. It's it's hard for me to put in words what it means to me. I'm sure you can understand to that. I've been working toward this, I guess, ever since I got into the music business. You know, this has really been my dream. And we finally have the first one out, and I'm really hoping to do another one soon.
Well, we're certainly going to do what we can to get the name Roger Neumann spread around, like I told you off the air. I'll take the interview and put it together with music when I'm off the air and send it over to England and Australia, and they just eat it right up.
Oh, great.
They love new talent. They love the conversations that we have with you. And I do get quite a bit of comment back from them. And you, too, will probably hear from them.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing I'm noticing even out here in L.A. is I'm meeting people who don't remember my name. When they hear the name Roger Neumann, they aren't sure who that is. But then when they hear Rather Large Band, they say, oh, yeah, you're the one with the Rather Large Band. They seem to remember that name.
Let me just go, let me tell the people, first of all, that we are live because they may not believe, well, they don't believe me anyway. But the thing is that I'm usually not live on the weekends.
Oh.
I play all of the pre-recorded interviews that I take during the week and line them up each hour during the weekends.
Uh-huh.
And this weekend I thought we would give our replacement time off so that I come in live. I let them tell them now that it's 2:27 back here in the Mohawk Valley of New York State, and they're listening to a live big band jazz program on AM 95 WIDX, Utica, Rome, New York. And I'm Harvey Lisker, speaking now with Roger Neumann in a payphone in California. Actually, he's Clark Kent, and he's ready to change into Superman.
That's right.
You're not practicing in there, are you? Or are you?
No, I'm not. I've played 2 jobs today already, so I'm ready to take a break.
Okay, how about a little bit of background, Raj? Your professional career. How long have you been playing professionally, and what instruments do you play?
Well, the first instrument, it's hard for me to remember how long I've been playing. Let's see. The first instrument I played was a curved B-flat soprano sax. And a lot of people haven't even seen one of those. Most saxophone players play a straight soprano. But I got my dad got hold of a little curved soprano for me. It just looks like a little miniature soprano. Little miniature saxophone. And which it really is. And that's what I started on when I was about 8 years old. And after I played that, 2-3 years, I switched to a tenor sax, but I hung on to that soprano, and I still have that very soprano, and I still play it, as a matter of fact. And then I got into playing the tenor saxophone and discovered Illinois Jacquet and Flip Phillips on the Jazz at the Philharmonic record, and that really turned me on. Then when I heard Stan Getz and Zoot Sims and Al Cohen and Bill Perkins and all those guys, then I knew what I wanted to do, And around that same time, I guess about the time I was 15 or 16, I started giving instant writing arrangements. And my dad, who is a musician, he was the first one, my first saxophone teacher, as a matter of fact. He became my first arranging teacher. I started just asking him questions, you know, like if I write for trumpet and trombone and tenor, what do I do? Do I write the tenor higher than trombone, or I write the trombone higher than tenor? What do I do? And I just asked him all these questions, and on and on and on. You know, if I write for string bass, how high can I write? And question after question, and he just very patiently answered all my questions, and pretty soon I was writing arrangements. So then after I had gone to a college in Sioux City, Iowa, and I taught school for a couple of years, I went out to Berklee School of Music in Boston and got really serious about studying arranging and composing. And went right from Berklee to, the day after I left Berklee, I went to Woody Herman's band, which was like graduate school after Berklee. And I finished out the year of 1967 on Woody's band, and in 1968 I came out to Los Angeles and worked with various bands and wrote for various bands, and finally got my album out. So very briefly, that's how I arrived at this point.
I'm with you. While you were talking there, I was just making a few adjustments, see if we couldn't straighten up the noise on our phone line on this end, but hey, listen, we do the best we can. It seems like...